The first snow of December had just begun to fall over the quiet town of Maplewood, Michigan. Streetlights glowed softly through the mist of snowflakes, front porches were wrapped with garlands and warm yellow lights, and houses looked like they had stepped out of a Christmas postcard. Inside a cozy two-story home at the end of Pine Hill Lane lived the Thompsons, a young family getting ready for their favorite time of the year. Emma Thompson, 33, stood by the kitchen island, sipping hot chocolate while scrolling through her Christmas to-do list. Her husband, Daniel, 35, was on a ladder in the living room, trying to fix the big gold star onto the top of their 9-foot Christmas tree. Their kids, 8-year-old Lily and 5-year-old Max, sat on the couch watching the Polar Express for the 100th time, singing along to the soundtrack. "Danny, don't fall this year," Emma teased, looking up at him with a grin. "I'm trying to make this tree Instagram-worthy, Daniel replied, carefully turning the star. "Symmetry is important." Lily turned her head. "Mom, are Grandma and Grandpa coming tonight?" "Yes, sweetheart. They'll be here around dinner time. And Aunt Sarah and Uncle Mark tomorrow morning," Emma said, ruffling Max's hair as she walked by. The house smelled like cinnamon, pine, and fresh sugar cookies. Christmas had officially begun. By late afternoon, the driveway was covered in soft snow. Headlights appeared through the frosty windows. Emma rushed to the front door just as it opened with a whoosh of cold air. "Mom! Dad!" she exclaimed, hugging her parents, Carol and Richard, both in their late 50s, bundled up in scarves. Daniel carried their luggage inside. Lily and Max ran into their grandparents' arms. Grandpa Richard laughed, lifting Max up like he was still 2 years old. "Who's ready for presents?" he whispered. "Me!" both kids shouted. Emma's mother, Carol, took a deep breath. "Your house looks beautiful, sweetheart. Smells just like Christmas should." They took off their coats, settled in around the fireplace, and Emma brought out freshly baked gingerbread cookies. Outside, snow kept falling. Inside, warmth and laughter filled the rooms, the kind of moments that made Christmas unforgettable. The next morning, the Thompson house woke up to a world covered in white. Thick snow blanketed the rooftops, trees, and front lawns of the neighborhood. Sunlight bounced off the icy layer, making the whole street look like a sparkling winter wonderland. Emma stood by the kitchen window, her hands wrapped around a mug of hot coffee. She could see Lily and Max pressing their faces against the living room window, excited about the snow. Behind her, Carol, Emma's mom, was whisking pancake batter in a mixing bowl. "You know," she said with a nostalgic smile, "when you were their age, you used to beg to go outside in the snow before breakfast too." Emma laughed softly. "And you never let me." Carol raised an eyebrow. "Because you'd always come back covered in snow, tracking it through the whole house. Just like your kids will today." Daniel walked in, sleepy-eyed, his hair messed up from sleep. He kissed Emma's forehead and stole a strip of bacon from the pan. "Morning. Coffee." "Already poured," Emma said, pointing to his mug on the counter. Soon the kitchen filled with the smell of pancakes, maple syrup, and crispy bacon. Grandpa Richard helped set the table while the kids bounced in their chairs, still wearing their fuzzy Christmas pajamas. Lily in pink with candy canes, Max in green with reindeer. After breakfast, Daniel looked at the kids with a grin. "All right. Who wants to build a snowman?" "Me." "Me." Both kids screamed. Emma helped bundle them up, puffy coats, wool scarves, gloves, and snow boots. She opened the front door, and a blast of cold air rushed in. The kids ran into the sparkling snow, Daniel followed their laughter them, echoing down rolling the street. The first big snowball for the snowman. Lily packed snow for the middle section while Max struggled to lift a smaller one. "It's heavy," he shouted. "You got it, buddy," Daniel encouraged. Inside, Emma and Carol watched from the window while sipping hot cocoa topped with whipped cream and tiny marshmallows. "They're growing up so fast," Carol whispered. "I know," Emma replied softly. "I just want this Christmas to be perfect." As the snowman took shape outside, with a carrot nose, button eyes, and Daniel's scarf wrapped around its neck, Emma pulled out a notebook. On the front cover, it said, "Thompson Family Christmas Plan." She began jotting down the schedule. Tonight, tree decorating and hot chocolate bar. Tomorrow, gingerbread house contest. Christmas Eve, family dinner and gift exchange. Christmas morning, pajama breakfast, opening presents. Evening, caroling at Maplewood Church. Carol looked over and smiled. You've always been the planner. Emma shrugged. Someone has to make the magic happen. Outside, Daniel and the kids finished the snowman just as soft snow began to fall again. They all stepped back and admired their work. From the doorway, Emma called out, "Hot cocoa is ready when you are." They ran back toward the house, cheeks red, scarves covered in snow, hearts warm. By late afternoon, the house felt alive with the warm glow of Christmas lights. The sun dipped behind the snow-covered rooftops, painting the sky in shades of lavender and gold. Inside, Emma was busy turning the kitchen counter into a full hot chocolate bar, something she started doing every Christmas since Lily was born. She lined up glass jars filled with marshmallows, peppermint sticks, crushed candy canes, caramel drizzle, whipped cream, chocolate chips, cinnamon powder, and red and green sprinkles. A wooden sign in festive lettering read, "Build your own hot cocoa, Thompson family tradition." Carol walked in, eyebrows raised. "Wow, Eminência. You've really gone all out this year." Emma smiled. "Well, we only get this magic for a few days a year. Why not make it unforgettable?" Daniel came in with Lily and Max, all three still rosy-cheeked and smiling from the cold. The kids gasped when they saw the hot chocolate bar. "Mom, this is like Starbucks but better," Lily exclaimed. Max's eyes widened. "Can I have whipped cream and marshmallows?" "As much as your mug can hold," Emma laughed. They all gathered in the living room afterward, mugs in hand. The Christmas tree stood tall and bare of ornaments, waiting for its transformation. Boxes of decorations were laid out on the floor, red and gold baubles, handmade ornaments from past years, strings of twinkling lights, and the delicate glass angel from Emma's childhood. Grandpa Richard turned on the classic Christmas playlist, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, Michael Bublé, the kind of music that made the room feel like a cozy Christmas movie. Daniel clapped his hands. "All right, team. Tree decorating begins." Lily picked up a glittery snowflake ornament and hung it carefully on the front. Max chose a small wooden soldier and placed it near the bottom. Emma held up a tiny painted ornament. "Look at this one," she said softly. "Lily made this when she was 3. "Wow," Lily blushed. "That's so ugly now." "No," Emma said, smiling. "That's love right there." Carol hung a red glass ball and whispered, "Your grandmother gave me these when you were little. I've kept them for 30 years." Lights wrapped around the tree, flashing softly as Grandpa plugged them in. The room instantly glowed with a warm golden hue. It made the snow outside sparkle even brighter. "Ready for the star?" Daniel asked. The room quieted. He lifted Max onto his shoulders while Lily held the star in both hands. "Be careful," Emma said, her voice soft but proud. Max took the star and gently placed it at the very top of the tree. The lights reflected in his eyes as he whispered, "It's perfect." Everyone stepped back. For a moment, there was silence. Not empty silence, but the kind filled with love, tradition, and memories. Emma's voice broke the quiet. "Okay. On the count of 3, we light the tree." They counted together, 1, 2, 3. Daniel flipped the switch. The tree came to life, glowing with soft yellow lights, sparkling ornaments, and a golden star that shined like hope itself. After the tree was lit and the living room glowed with golden warmth, Daniel dimmed the main lights, letting only the Christmas tree and fireplace illuminate the room. The snow outside continued to fall, gently tapping against the windows like soft whispers of winter. Emma carried a stack of red and green envelopes, blank sheets of paper, and silver gel pens. She placed them on the coffee table. Lily tilted her head. "What's this for?" Emma smiled. "It's time to write our letters to Santa." "But I'm 8, Lily whispered. "Do we still do that?" Carol winked. "Even when you're 80, you're never too old to believe in a little Christmas magic." Max grabbed a paper immediately and started writing in large, uneven letters. "Dear Santa, I have been mostly good. I want a remote control robot and chocolate coins." Daniel leaned over to whisper dramatically, "Mostly good? You sure about that, buddy?" Max giggled. "Okay, fine, medium good." Lily sat beside the fireplace, thinking hard. Do you think Santa can bring world peace? Or is that too heavy for his sleigh? Emma's heart melted. Write it anyway. Across the room, Grandpa Richard sat in his favorite recliner, adjusting his glasses. He wasn't writing a letter to Santa, but instead writing a short note to place inside his Christmas card for Grandma, a tradition he'd followed every year since they met. Carol noticed and smiled softly. After all these years, love still lived in small gestures. Meanwhile, Daniel grabbed his own paper. With exaggerated seriousness, he wrote, "Dear Santa, please bring me a new snowblower. Mine died after last year's blizzard and my back is still mad at me." Emma burst out laughing. "Really, Danny?" He shrugged. "Hey, Santa takes requests." Emma picked up her pen and wrote more quietly. "Dear Santa, I don't need much. Just a happy family, healthy kids, and memories that last forever." She didn't show anyone, but tucked the letter into her envelope with a soft smile. After everyone sealed their envelopes, Daniel said, "Okay. Tradition time." Lily grinned. "Storytelling." "Yep. We sit around the fire, drink cocoa, and everyone shares their favorite Christmas memory." Max climbed onto his dad's lap. "My memory is this one. Right now." Emma placed her hand over her heart. "That's the best answer I've ever heard." Carol went first. "My favorite memory was when Emma was 5. She woke up at 4 a.m., dragged her blanket and teddy bear to the living room, and fell asleep under the tree waiting for Santa." Emma covered her face. "Mom." Everyone laughed. Grandpa Richard went next. "For me, it was the year we moved into our first home. We had no money for a tree, so we decorated a broom with popcorn strings and paper stars." Emma's eyes softened. "And look at us now." Hot chocolate mugs were refilled, more whipped cream was added, and the room filled with quiet laughter and the soft glow of Christmas lights. Before heading to bed, Daniel opened the front door. Cold air swept in. He gently placed the Santa letters in the mailbox by the porch. Snow crunched under his boots. The world was silent, peaceful. He whispered into the night, "Please let this Christmas stay this perfect." The next morning, sunlight reflected off the snow and poured through the frosted windows, filling the kitchen with a soft golden glow. Emma tied her apron, its front reading "Mrs. Claus in Training," while Carol preheated the oven. Today was one of the most anticipated family traditions, the annual gingerbread house contest. Daniel walked in, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "Do we get judged by creativity or how much icing we manage to eat before building?" Emma smirked. "Both. And no cheating this year, Danny. Last time you ate half the gummy bears." Max, already sitting at the table with flour on his nose, announced, "I'm gonna build the biggest candy castle ever." Lily added confidently, "Well, I'm making Santa's workshop. With actual marshmallow snow." Carol placed neatly prepared gingerbread walls, bowls of colorful candies, gumdrops, M&Ms, pretzel sticks, and tubs of white icing on the kitchen island. Christmas music played softly in the background, rockin' around the Christmas tree, while the smell of cinnamon and vanilla filled the room. Daniel clapped his hands. "Okay teams. Boys versus girls." Emma pointed a finger. "You're on." Grandpa Richard sat at the end of the table with a mug of coffee, acting as the official judge. "I'll score based on design, teamwork, and how much love you put into it," he declared with mock seriousness. The timer started. Emma and Lily began carefully assembling the base of their gingerbread house. Emma held up 2 walls while Lily spread icing like glue. Across from them, Daniel and Max were already in chaos. Max squeezed the icing tube too hard, and a mountain of frosting exploded across the table. "Whoa. Muckschlift. Snowstorm." Daniel grinned. "We call that artistic expression." Emma rolled her eyes but couldn't help smiling. Carol helped refill candy bowls while humming along to Bing Crosby. Every so often, she leaned over to whisper tips to the kids like, "Use pretzel sticks for logs," or powdered sugar. Lily carefully placed gumdrops on the roof, tongue sticking out in concentration. "Mom, don't let it fall like last year." I reinforced it with extra icing, Emma assured her. Meanwhile, Daniel and Max created what could only be described as a gingerbread disaster zone. Walls leaning, icing dripping like melted snow, gummy bears stuck in windows sideways. Max beamed proudly. Ours is abstract. After an hour, the timer buzzed. Everyone stepped back. Emma and Lily's gingerbread house looked straight out of a Hallmark movie. Candy cane pillars, marshmallow snowmen, pretzel fences, and a sign that read North Pole Lane. Daniel and Max's creation. Leaned awkwardly to the side, gumdrops sliding off, but had a gummy bear snowball fight scene in the front yard. Grandpa stood, circling both masterpieces. He tapped his chin dramatically. One is perfect. The other is creatively questionable. Max looked up nervously. But does ours have heart? Grandpa smiled warmly. More than enough. He raised both hands. E declare a tie. Lily gasped. What? But ours. Emma placed a hand on her shoulder. It's Christmas. We all win. Laughter filled the kitchen. Someone threw a mini marshmallow. Then another. Suddenly a full-blown marshmallow fight broke out, with kids screaming and adults laughing uncontrollably. In that moment, sugar on their clothes, icing in their hair, joy everywhere. It felt like Christmas was exactly as it should be. By early evening, the snowfall had slowed, and the town of Maplewood looked like a Christmas card come to life. Streetlights glowed against the fresh snow, wreaths hung on every door, and the smell of chimney smoke drifted through the chilly air. Tonight was special. The Thompson family was getting ready for the Maplewood Community Christmas Carol night. Emma stood in the hallway, handing out scarves and knitted hats. Okay, everyone. Layers, gloves, and no one leaves the house without warm socks. Daniel wrapped a plaid scarf around his neck dramatically. Do we get hot chocolate at the end of this mission? Yes, Emma replied, smiling as she helped Max zip his puffy red jacket. But only if you sing louder than last year. I sang loud. Max protested. You barked the lyrics, Lily teased. Grandpa Richard put on his long wool coat and grabbed his old songbook, edges worn from decades of caroling. Carol tied her white knitted scarf, looking at him nostalgically. 28 Christmases together and you still lead the carols. He grinned. Someone has to keep the tradition alive. They stepped outside into the crisp evening air. Snow crunched under their boots as they walked down Pine Hill Lane, windows glowing warmly in every home. Other neighbors joined along. Kids holding battery-powered lanterns, parents carrying sheet music. At the town square, a large Christmas tree stood in the center, strung with twinkling lights and a giant silver star at the top. The community gazebo was decorated with red ribbons, pine garlands, and golden bells. A table nearby offered free hot cider, cookies, and marshmallows. Mayor Collins stepped onto the gazebo stage. Welcome to Maplewood's 45th annual Christmas Carol Night. Thank you for being part of this beautiful tradition, a night of music, joy, and community. Applause echoed across the square. Emma looked around. The sight was magical. Families bundled up, hands wrapped around steaming cups, kids giggling as they made snow angels near the sidewalk. The choir leader, Mrs. Peterson, lifted her hand. The piano began playing softly. All right, everyone, she called. Let's start with Silent Night. Voices rose together, gentle and warm against the cold night air. Silent Night, Holy Night. Emma held Lily's hand while Daniel carried Max on his shoulders so he could see the tree lights. Carol and Richard sang side by side, their voices blending like they had for years. As the song ended, snow began to fall again, light and delicate, like feathers floating in the air. The crowd softly gasped at the beauty of it. They moved on to the next carol, Joy to the World, then Hark! The herald angels sing. Between songs, Lily whispered to Emma, Mom, this is what Christmas feels like. Emma squeezed her hand. Yeah, it really is. Daniel leaned close to Emma and whispered, You okay? She nodded, eyes glistening. Just happy. When the final carol, O Holy Night, began, Emma closed her eyes. The music filled the town square, echoing off the snow-covered streets. For that moment, Everything felt perfect. Peaceful, like the world paused to listen. By the time the family returned from caroling, the night sky was black velvet sprinkled with silver stars. Snowflakes drifted lazily through the cold air, resting softly on rooftops. The Thompson house glowed like a lantern in the darkness. Twinkle lights outside, warm firelight flickering inside. Emma pushed the door open and sighed. Home sweet home. The smell of roasted turkey, garlic butter rolls, and cinnamon applesauce welcomed them like a hug. While they were out caroling, Carol had stayed behind to finish the Christmas Eve dinner preparations. Daniel took off his coat. "Mom, this smells incredible." Carol wiped her hands on her apron. "Wash up, everyone. Dinner is in 5 minutes." The dining table was dressed beautifully. Red and gold runner down the center, crystal glasses, white plates with pine sprigs on each napkin, and candles casting a soft glow. The kids raced upstairs to put on their matching Christmas pajamas while the adults changed into cozy sweaters. They gathered around the table. Grandpa Richard stood, raising his glass of apple cider. To Christmas Eve, to family, to laughter, and to love that grows every year. Glasses touched. Cheers. Dinner was full of clinking silverware, stories, and laughter. Max managed to get mashed potatoes on his sweater, while Lily tried to secretly feed her vegetables to the dog, Bailey, who was very willing to help. Midway through dinner, Aunt Sarah and Uncle Mark arrived. Cheeks cold, arms full of gifts, and their 2-year-old daughter Mia, asleep against Sarah's shoulder. "Sorry we're late," Mark whispered. "Traffic and toddler life." Emma hugged them. "You're just in time." They joined the table, and conversation blossomed even more. Childhood memories, embarrassing stories, jokes about Daniel burning the turkey one year. Then Carol stood up, hands slightly trembling but smiling. She looked at Richard, then at Emma. "We have something to share." Emma frowned slightly. "Mom." Carol took a breath. "Your father and we bought a small cabin by Silver Lake. We're moving there after New Year's." Silence fell like fresh snow. Emma blinked. "You're moving?" Richard nodded softly. "Not far. Just an hour away. We want quieter mornings. More time by the water. But we'll be back every holiday. And we want all of you there for summer weekends." Daniel nodded with a gentle smile. "That sounds perfect." Emma's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but something in between pride and nostalgia. "I'm happy for you," she said, voice shaking, "but I'll miss having you 5 minutes away." Carol reached for her hand. "You'll always have us. Just, with more sunsets and fishing now." Lily looked confused. "Does that mean Grandma won't be here for pancakes?" Carol laughed softly. "Sweetheart, I'll still make pancakes. Just at the lake sometimes." Tension melted into soft laughter. Emma stood and hugged both her parents tightly. A moment later, Daniel raised his glass again. "To new beginnings. And to the people who make every place feel like home." Everyone echoed softly, "To home." The snow kept falling outside in thick, soft flakes, dusting the trees, rooftops, and streets in a blanket of glistening white. Inside the Mitchell's house, the warmth of the crackling fireplace, golden fairy lights, and the laughter of family filled every room like a favorite Christmas song. Emma poured hot chocolate topped with mini marshmallows, while Lauren finished placing poinsettia centerpieces on the dining table. The whole place looked like a cozy Christmas postcard. Michael stepped back to admire their preparations. Garlands hung perfectly, stockings lined above the mantel, candles lit in glass jars with cinnamon sticks tied around them. "Guys," he said, smiling, "this house officially looks like Santa's Airbnb." Tom chuckled, taking a sip of cocoa. "Yeah, but with fewer elves and more snacks." Little Noah raced around the living room with his reindeer headband bouncing on his head. "Mom, Aunt Emma, when are we opening more gifts?" he asked, his eyes sparkling like Christmas lights. "After dinner," Ashley answered, booping his nose. "Santa said patience is a Christmas virtue." Outside, the wind softly whistled, and the snow deepened. Lauren looked out the window and whispered, "It's so peaceful. Like the world slowed down just to breathe for Christmas." Suddenly, a knock came at the door. Emma opened it, and everyone gasped. Standing there were Emma's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Carter, wrapped in coats and scarves, cheeks rosy from the cold. They lived in Seattle and hadn't planned to fly out because of weather conditions. But here they were, smiling warmly. "Mom? Dad?" Emma's voice cracked with surprise. Her mother stepped forward, opening her arms. "Merry Christmas, sweetheart. We couldn't stay away." Emma hugged them tightly, tears forming. Michael quickly joined, shaking her father's hand. "You guys made it. How? We thought all flights were cancelled." "Not all of them," Mr. Carter chuckled. "Plus, we brought something special." From the porch, they pulled a covered basket. Inside was a round ornament made of carved wood. It was engraved with a Christmas tree and 4 names: Emma, Michael, Noah, and one small blank heart below. Michael stared. "Is this?" Her mom smiled knowingly. "It's meant to be personalized, when the new baby arrives." Emma couldn't hold back her emotions. She hugged her mom again, overcome with love and gratitude. Soon the living room filled with more joy than before. Coat racks overflowed, voices overlapped with excitement, and the fire glowed brighter as if it knew something magical had just happened. Dinner was nearly ready when Tom shouted from the kitchen, Guys, where's the turkey thermometer?" Ashley groaned dramatically. "Seriously? It's like a Christmas mystery every year." They eventually improvised by using an old trick from YouTube and high hopes. When the turkey came out golden and perfect, they all cheered as if they'd won a cooking show. Everyone gathered at the long wooden table decorated with plaid table runners, mistletoe, and candles. Michael raised his glass. "To family, those here, those watching from heaven, and those on their way." Glasses clinked. The room fell beautifully quiet. As they ate, the snow continued dancing outside. Stories of childhood Christmas mornings, burnt cookies, and Secret Santa disasters left everyone laughing. Then, her father stood and softly asked, "Emma, would you like to hang this ornament?" Together, Emma and Michael walked toward the tree, Noah trailing behind. They placed the wooden ornament on a strong branch in the center. It felt like a promise, a symbol of past MEM. The night had settled deep and soft over the Mitchell household. Snow continued to fall, blanketing the neighborhood in silence, muffling every sound like the world had been wrapped in cotton. Inside the warm home, the soft glow of fairy lights reflected off ornaments and glass, creating tiny stars dancing on the walls. Christmas music played softly in the background, Frank Sinatra's voice filling the quiet spaces. Dinner plates were cleared, leftovers packaged, and pie crumbs existed only in memories and the corners of napkins. Kids were curled up by the fireplace, half asleep from turkey and sugar cookies, while adults sipped hot cider and mulled wine. Laughter had mellowed into low, content conversation. Ashley stretched her legs on the rug beside the fire and sighed happily. "You know, this is the kind of night we'll remember forever." Emma, sitting beside Michael on the couch, nodded with a peaceful smile. "Yeah. It feels like the storybook Christmas we always dreamed of." Her mother leaned forward, a playful grin on her face. "Speaking of dreams, are you two going to tell everyone your news, or should I?" Michael laughed nervously while Emma blushed. The room went quiet with curious attention. "Okay," Emma said, taking a deep breath. "So, we're pregnant." For a second, silence. Then the room exploded with cheering, clapping, and tears. Lauren jumped from her chair, hugging Emma tightly. Tom raised his glass in the air. "To the newest little Mitchell." Little Noah blinked in surprise. "Wait, I'm gonna be a big brother." Emma pulled him into her arms. "Yes, baby. You are." His smile could have powered the Christmas tree. Even Grandpa Carter wiped a tear from his eye. "This is what Christmas is about," he murmured. Life moving forward, love multiplying, the next hour filled with excited questions. How far along? Do you want a boy or girl? Any name ideas? Can I be the godmother? Lauren asked dramatically. Emma answered with giggles, maybe. If you stop eating all the gingerbread men. Tom nudged her. Too late for that. Suddenly, Ashley stood up. I have an idea. Let's all write a wish or prayer for the baby on a piece of paper and hang it on the tree. Everyone loved it. Michael brought out small parchment cards and red ribbons. One by one, they wrote quietly, the room lit only by the Christmas tree and flickering candles. Lauren wrote, "May you always know laughter and love." Tom scribbled, "Hope you like pizza and snow days." Ashley wrote, "May God protect you, little one, every single day." Grandma Carter's hands trembled as she wrote, "May you inherit kindness and courage." Emma hesitated, her eyes full of emotion, then wrote slowly, "You are already loved more than stars can count." They tied each wish to the branches like tiny blessings. Then, at exactly midnight, the clock chimed softly. Michael turned down the lights even more and handed everyone a candle. "Let's do something Grandpa used to do. A candlelight Christmas prayer." They formed a circle around the tree. Flames flickered gently, faces glowing warm in the soft light. Michael spoke first. "Lord, thank you for this home, this family, and this life. For the ones beside us and the ones we miss. And for the new little miracle growing in our hearts." The room was still. Only the crackle of the fire responded. They stood in silence for a moment that felt timeless. Outside, the snow paused as if listening. Inside, hearts felt full, wrapped not just in warmth, but in something deeper. Hope. Love. Family. The first morning of Christmas Day arrived gently. Golden sunlight peeked through frosted windows, touching the living room with soft warmth. The Christmas tree still glowed faintly, its lights blinking quietly like sleepy stars. The house was still. No sounds except the hum of the heater and the distant chirp of a winter bird outside. Then came a small voice. "Mom, is it morning yet?" It was Noah, pajama-clad and hair sticking up like a snowflake explosion. Emma smiled sleepily as he tugged on her hand. "Can we open presents now?" Michael yawned and sat up. "Merry Christmas, buddy." Within minutes, the house turned from peaceful silence to joyful chaos again. Slippers shuffled on wooden floors. Coffee brewed in the kitchen. Cinnamon rolls warmed in the oven. Grandma Carter handed out steaming mugs of cocoa, while Tom lit the fireplace again. Soon, everyone gathered near the Christmas tree, sitting on soft blankets and pillows scattered on the rug. The living room smelled of pine, vanilla, and cinnamon. Like a perfect Christmas candle. Emma settled on the couch, a hand resting lightly on her belly. Michael sat beside her, his arm around her shoulders. Noah sat cross-legged on the floor, eyes wide with anticipation. "All right," Michael announced dramatically. "Who goes first?" Grandpa Carter raised his hand like a school kid. "Me. Because I brought something special." He handed Noah a long, rectangular box wrapped in silver paper with a red bow. Noah tore it open and gasped. Inside was a wooden model train with little carved initials, N.M. "Noah Mitchell," Grandpa said softly. "Your name, buddy. I made this when your mom was pregnant with you. I always planned to give it when you were old enough." Noah clutched it like treasure. "Can we put it under the tree every year?" "Every single year," Emma said. Next was Emma's gift to Michael, a small black box. When he opened it, inside lay a silver compass engraved with the words, "Home is wherever I'm with you." He smiled, emotion flickering in his eyes. "You know I'm not gonna cry in front of everybody, right?" Lauren snorted. "Too late. Your eyes are already watery." Michael playfully threw a cushion at her. Then came a gift no one expected. Emma's mom, with a mysterious smile, passed a beautifully wrapped envelope to Emma and Michael. "This one is from both of us," she said, nodding at her husband. Emma opened it. Inside were 2 tickets. To Aspen. Michael read aloud. "A winter getaway?" "Yes," her mother said proudly. "Before the baby comes. Just the 2 of you. A little baby moon in the mountains." Emma gasped. "Mom, this is wow. Thank you." Lauren leaned in. "Please take me in your suitcase." Laughter filled the room again, warm and loud. After presents, the kids couldn't resist the untouched snow outside. Bundled in scarves, hats, and wool gloves, they raced out the front door. The sunlight hit the snow, making it sparkle like crushed diamonds. Noah flopped onto the ground. Snow angels time. Ashley, Lauren, and even Michael joined in. Soon the front yard was covered in snow angels, lopsided snowmen, and footprints everywhere. Emma stood on the porch, hands around a warm mug, watching her family with tears of happiness in her eyes. Her mother came beside her. "Feels unreal, doesn't it?" she said softly. Emma nodded. "It feels like everything I ever wished for is happening all at once." Her mom squeezed her hand. "That's Christmas magic, sweetheart. It shows up when love is loudest." Inside, Grandpa Carter set up his old vinyl player and gently played "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." Ashley brought out freshly baked cinnamon rolls glazed with icing. The smell drifted through the house like heaven. As family members came back inside, cheeks rosy and hands cold, they gathered by the fire once more. Emma walked to the tree, touching the wooden ornament from last night. It now reflected morning light, glowing with hope. Michael joined her quietly, ready to start new traditions. Emma looked around, at her family, her growing child, the snow, the love, and smiled. "Yeah," she whispered. "Let's make this our forever Christmas." As the afternoon faded into a golden winter evening, the Mitchell home settled into a soft rhythm. The snow outside shimmered under the first glow of the streetlights, untouched except for the snow angels and crooked snowmen made earlier that morning. Inside, the smells of roasted ham, garlic mashed potatoes, honey-glazed carrots, and cranberry sauce filled the kitchen. Emma and Ashley stood side by side, carefully arranging dishes on the long dining table. Red plaid runners, golden chargers, white plates, and sparkling wine glasses created a charming holiday spread. Fairy lights wound around pine branches in the center, with candles glowing like little hearts. Michael walked in holding a speaker. "Okay, vote time. Classic Christmas songs or jazzy Christmas lounge?" "Classic," Emma said immediately. "Jazzy," Lauren argued. Grandpa raised his hand. "Whichever has Sinatra." "Classic it is," Michael laughed, pressing play. Slowly, guests gathered. Some in cozy sweaters, others still in fuzzy socks from the morning. The room buzzed with quiet joy, the kind that didn't need excitement to feel special. They sat down as the sun dipped below snowy rooftops, painting the sky with pale pink and lavender. Michael stood, holding his glass of sparkling cider. "I know I've made like 5 toasts already this holiday," he said with a playful sigh, "but this one's the real one." Everyone chuckled softly. He looked at Emma, then around the table. "This Christmas, I don't know, it feels different. Deeper. I mean, snow is perfect, food is amazing, and yes, Lauren hasn't burned anything." "Hey!" Lauren yelled, tossing a napkin. "But seriously," Michael continued, "I've never been more grateful. We've got new beginnings coming." He glanced at Emma's belly, "old memories we've honored, and people we thought couldn't make it, who still showed up for us." He raised his glass. "To family, the loud ones, the quiet ones, the ones in heaven, and the little ones not even here yet." Everyone lifted their glasses. To family. They ate slowly, savoring both the food and the moment. Conversations flowed, stories of Christmases past, embarrassing moments, secret crushes from high school, Tom's failed attempt at making eggnog in college. Then something sweet happened. Grandma Carter stood, holding a small velvet box. "I wasn't sure when I'd give this," she said, voice trembling, "but tonight feels right." She handed it to Emma. Inside was a delicate gold necklace with a tiny heart and a birthstone. "It was mine," her mother said softly. "And my mother's before that. Now, it's yours. And someday, perhaps your daughter's." Emma's eyes welled up. She put it on as everyone clapped softly. Later, the sky